This ground factor in the Alien franchise is one of my favorites. To say the least, I've loved it for a long time. And while yes, not every installment is great, I do love the franchise itself. So before I get into the review, let's take a look back at the landscape when this film was announced. The Alien franchise had been dormant since 2017, after the underperformance of Alien Covenant, the sequel to the prequel to Alien. And although it did underperform, Fox was still going to continue with the third film in this Alien prequel trilogy. And if Disney didn't buy Fox in 2019, then we would have probably got Alien Awakening. But Disney did buy Fox. And for a little bit, we weren't sure what was going to happen to this franchise. But in 2022, a Predator prequel released on Hulu. And not even exaggerating, everybody loved it. It was a back-to-basics Predator movie, and has pretty much saved the Predator franchise. As we know, 2 more Predator films are in development right now. So soon after Prey's release, we had the announcement of a new Alien movie that would also be going to Hulu. We heard, like Prey, it would be a back-to-basics Alien movie. Because even though I do like Prometheus and Covenant, sometimes I just want a good Alien movie and not a complex Alien movie. A few months later, the film was announced to be moved from Hulu to theaters because of the overwhelming love of Prey. If Prey would have been released in theaters, it would have made so much money. So Disney thought, well, we're not missing out on that again. Put Alien in theaters. So I had a lot of faith and excitement for this movie, mainly because of how well Prey was done. So now you've seen Alien Romulus. This movie is great. Like, this movie is amazing. This is truly a back-to-basics Alien movie. I will say this is the scariest Alien movie since the original. This movie really brings back the horror into the Alien franchise. And I know a lot of people say that this franchise kind of lost its horror with Prometheus and Covenant, and one wouldn't say that, but it was definitely less focused on, while also not abandoning the action. Because throughout the entire Alien franchise, there has been action. And the action that it does have is fantastic. It's probably some of the best action we've got out of the Alien movies. But there is a perfect balance between action and horror. There's also so many unique things this movie does that really makes you think, how has this not already been done in this franchise? This movie's cast is also really good, generally very solid. Especially David Johnson, who plays an android named Andy. And the journey this character goes through is so complex and just conflicting, and definitely steals the spotlight. This movie also does some stuff to expand the Alien world, but in a way to where the movie still feels like a standalone thing, but it does have slight connections and Easter eggs to other Alien films. And it takes some elements from the previous movies and mixes them in here. I also think it was incredibly smart to have this one take place between Alien and Aliens. It doesn't do anything to disrupt the rest of the franchise. This movie also has a few funny lines here and there, only one of which made me laugh personally. Not saying it's a negative, but you're either gonna laugh at some of these lines or you're not gonna laugh at them. I also think this might be the best shot and looking Alien movie. It's definitely up there with Prometheus and Covenant. And oh boy, practical xenomorph effects. Oh, they're fantastic. And oh my, the final act of this movie is bonkers. Like crazy. Insane. I mean that in a good way. At least in my opinion, I've seen a lot of people kind of mixed on it. I loved it. I think it's great. I don't think anybody could ever predict the final act of this movie. I don't think it's possible. I really don't. Overall, this one was fantastic. If you like the Alien franchise, then I highly recommend it. But now we're getting to spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, which I assure you, you don't, then click out the video. First of all, the return of Ian Holm as an android. With, while yes, not the best aging effects I've ever seen, but personally that didn't bother me at all in the slightest. I did not care. Now some people are kind of saying this is a cameo, but I would argue that it's much more than just a cameo in a very, very, very small supporting role. I think it was pretty good. It makes sense, it doesn't really feel forced. And this movie finally explains why the Weyland Company wants the xenomorphs. Like we're told in the other films, they won't because of the apex predator of the entire universe. We know, yeah, but why? Why do you want it? What are you gonna do with it? But we get a legit reason in this movie. So that way they can make humans more adaptable to space. And that makes a lot of sense, actually. I think that's great. It's a great explanation. And then we get to the ending. The final act of this movie that has a creature to what, from what I've seen, has been called the Offspring. It's pretty much Alien Resurrection, but done so much better. I think the design of this creature is honestly really scary. And as I mentioned, I did not expect it. And some people say they don't like it, but I think it's fine. But yeah, overall, I love Alien Romulus. And as I said, I highly recommend it. And if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing, and join the subreddit and the Discord server. Bye guys for now. Bye bye, here on Thacker.